How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Daddy Dave, and this is a map tour for a new mod map on Farming Simulator 25 for all platforms called StarValley. And we're going to start with the description from the mod hub, and it reads, this map will test both man and machine to the limits due to the vast unevenness of the fields. It doesn't have a city, but it has an industrial park for each player to customize to their liking. 57 fields, both large and small, 4 logging areas, 2 vineyards ready for harvesting, 1 olive grove ready for harvesting, 1 stone quarry, 7,500 trees and bushes, industrial park, and much more to discover. There are mods required for this map, and they are the low-cost grain silo by ER Shaba VSR Modding Server, and the Lizard Super Fast Charging Station by Vanquish 081. This is a European map and is created by Truck69 and is 298.06 megabytes to download. If we take a look at the map, this is what it looks like. We start out here on kind of the middle southern portion of the map at our main starting farm. If I deactivate this and scroll over to the farmlands, we start out with farmlands number 1, 2, 3, 6, and 12. 1 is our main farm right here, as well as a wheat field that is ready to harvest. Number 2 down here is a grape field ready to harvest. Number 3 is a pea field that is growing. Number 6 is another grape field that is ready to harvest. And number 12, all the way up here, is a poplar field that is ready to harvest. Field prices on the map do vary, as we do have quite a good swing of sizes for fields. So starting out down here, 31,000, 31,000, 35,000, 39,000, getting a little bigger at 76, a little bit bigger again, 256, 150, 345, 244, 72, 69, 150, getting even bigger now at 220, 313, 263, 350, 494, and so on and so forth. We do get a couple of forestry bits here. 100,000 for this one. We got another one right here for 125,000. A little bit of forestry up in here for 130,000, and so on and so forth. So we do get quite a bit of land on this and got some good ranges between the various different sizes and prices. Again, we got a big field here for 691,000 and 727, so pretty good range. Now you cannot purchase all areas of the map. You can see right here in the middle where the shop is, this is not purchasable land right here. Same thing with a lot of the actual like buy points, sell points, and things like that. That's places are not purchasable as well. We do start out with animal pens. As you can see, we do have a cow barn with feeding robot, a chicken pasture, as well as a horse pasture. Contracts are available on this map. We do not start out with any production chains, but we have them available on the map. And if we scroll over to this page, we do have collectibles on this map, 25 of them to be precise. If we take a look at mods specific to this map, starting on the buy menu, there is no mods and DLCs tab, so there is no mod specific to this map on this screen. And then if we take a look at the build menu, going out to here, and we scroll all the way through, actually, no, I'm sorry. Under buildings, productions, animals, decorations, and landscaping, there is absolutely no mods that are specific to this map. Not even under the painting swatches here. We have the normal amount of painting swatches. So yeah, no mods that are specific to this map whatsoever. So because we do start here at the starting farm, let's take a look at some of our starting equipment. Starting out here, we have the FarmTech EDK 650 trailer, the Furman MRWK 6000 grape trailer, the Grigori GL 8.4 grape and olive harvester. We have the Horse Mistro 2450 SV. This is a planter. The Hardy Mercury 4000. This is our like vines and grapes sprayer. The John Deere 6R250. The Junheinrich EFG S50 High-Low. We got a Krone Trailer Profi liner. We have a Collier Forschenschnick K307CH Eco Flex. I believe this is one of the tree fellers. Kubota SVL97-2. This is a skid steer. Massey Ferguson 8570 harvester header, header trailer. We got the New Holland TK4 methane power, the Paladin bale spear, Paladin high dump bucket, the Providus MP 122 Osea. This is the grape pruner. We have the TMC Kinsella TPN 140 mulcher, the Valtra S 286. We have the Volvo FH Electric 330, and that is it. So let's go ahead and make our way around and show off this map. So starting out here right in front of me, we have sleep trigger, wardrobe trigger. Behind me there is a repair trigger right there. On the back side over here, we have the farm garage. This is a constructible, so you just bring all those palleted goods down at the bottom right hand corner over to this area here, and over time it will slowly build up a garage right there. Tucked away over here, we have an electrical charging station there, a fuel tank here, bale and pallet storage right here with room for 250 pallets or bales. We have a chicken barn, chicken pasture right here with room for 20 chickens, eggs out here, feed in the back here, and you can access the chicken menu or animal menu right here. Behind me we have the cow barn with feeding robot. This has room for 96 cows. This portion is the feeding robot section, so if you want, you can bring the individual components of hay, straw, silage, and mineral feed, and on top of each hour, the robot will mix up the correct portions that are needed for your animals, and will go ahead and automatically feed them on the top of the hour. Slurry is out here. You can also manually feed your animals right here, as well as be able to blow straw into the pen from here, or you can blow straw in on this side of the bay over here as well. You can load your animals in from here, and milk can be gotten out right here. And then up here, we have our horse pasture right over here with room for 9 horses. You can see the animal dialog boxes right there, and our feed can go in right here. Silo right here. And that's it. That's pretty much everything here at the starting farm. So I'm going to go ahead and hook up to the, well, actually I'm going to unhook from the semi trailer right here, and we're going to make our way around this map. So we're going to head out this way. Now, I'm going to preface this whole map tour before we even get going off too terribly far. There are going to be times where I may have to reference the map to kind of get my bearings. Unfortunately, the way that the map is listed, at least the HUD down at the bottom left-hand corner there, is very difficult to find and read where you are going. So it's one of those where I took notes on where I need to go and all that stuff, but I need to make sure I'm going in the right order, or else it's going to be just chaos. Gas station off to the right. Get turned around. Now right here you can see this is like a big constructibles area, so you can turn this into a giant industrial park, putting in all your production points, and anything that you want can be put right over here, right next to the shop, which is right back here. So shop trigger is right here. Oops, and over here is the repair trigger. So now, head out this way. cross over the bridge. Coming up on my left, you can see it through the trees. That is the the farmer's market sell point over there. Coming up to my left, we have the manure buy point right there. Slurry buy point directly in front of me. And then we come to a stop right here. This is the animal dealer. You can come to this location and purchase your animals directly using this icon right here, or the same icon at any of the pens and pastures you have listed across your map. If you use this icon directly, though, you will incur an additional fee. That fee is associated to a delivery fee. The animal dealer is taking the animals from this location and delivering them across the map wherever you have your pens and pastures. Now, to kind of give you a little context, if we purchase an adult cow, that's $100 per adult cow. That's on top of the base price. Now, if you were to, say, fill up the pen that we have here with adult cows, you're going to spend an extra $9,600 on top of the $112,000 plus that you're going to buy just for base animals. And that's one pen, that's only 96 cows. That adds up over time. That's going to add up if you keep on buying new pens, getting them bigger and bigger and bigger. So what you might want to consider doing is bringing an animal trailer to this location and park it inside this hazard box here. Then you'll be able to use this animal dialog box. It'll load the animals into the animal trailer, and then you'll be able to make the delivery of the animals yourself. You'll save that $100 per adult cow, or however much it'll be for any other species of animal that you are going to purchase. Now, under the awning right there is AI Helper David. And over here is the Animal Dealer Sell Point. As we go up this very tall hill, it's making more and more sense why we have an electric vehicle running around this map. All that torque. So heading down this hill. And down another very large hill. Now we need to slow down, follow this out to the left. And as we follow this out here, come up to our next point of interest. Over here is the grape processing unit. You can purchase the grape processing unit for $240,000. Input here and output under the awning back there. Now we'll continue on. At this intersection, we'll make a left. And now we're going to go kind of a roundabout way to do a bit of backtracking. Now back over here. Very aggressive hill. So now as we continue heading kind of northwest, go up this hill. And now we'll make a left here. We'll continue to follow this kind of towards the north. believe it's out in this direction, if I remember correctly. All right. Now back here, we have the canning factory. So right over here, you can purchase this for $330,000. Output here and input around the back over there. Now let's get turn around. This just winds up being a dead end in that direction. There we go. Now we need to backtrack a ways till we get to our next point of interest. Up this monster of a hill. Back to the main road over here. Make a right. And now followed by another right. All right, so right here is where we need to stop and take a look at the map just real quick. So where have we been and what have we seen so far? Well, we started out down here at the main farm. We saw everything we needed to see around here. We then came out to the main road where we saw the gas station over here, backtracked up to the shop trigger, repair trigger. Then we came over here where we saw the farmer's market, over to the manure buy point, slurry buy point, animal dealer, AI helper David, as well as the animal dealer sell point. Came down through here to the grape processing unit, back up over and around over to here, out to farmland number 72. We can purchase this for $129,888. Now, I really struggle to call this farm number 2, but we're going to call it farm number 2 just because I can't think of anything else to call it. So what does farm number 2 have? It has a silo. That's it. You got a little building, like a rundown barn over there, but that's it. That's legitimately, that is 100% all you're getting out of this. So that's kind of why I struggled to call it farm number 2, but it's got something there to show. So I'm going to call it that. Okay, now here, open up the gate, dairy sell point directly in front of me. Heading down to the bridge over here. You can see just the elevation shifts that are available on this map. It gets crazy. But you can also see some of the flaws that the map has. As you can see, kind of breaking Newton's laws. Anyways, kind of the same thing right there as well, as you saw, or may have seen. Got a little bit of exposure there. Anyways, coming up on my right, this is the temple sell point. This is a constructible. One thing you'll notice on the map is that there are tons of these constructibles all throughout the map. So what the constructibles are, as I don't often get to, illustrate them with the new mod maps, is that they are the map, or they are the place where you bring all your palleted goods, and it slowly builds a creation over time. Now, is this is not where I needed to go. Nope. All right, coming up over here. Gonna make a right. And now, let's see. My turn, there's my turn right up there. All right, from here, make a left. and follow this way back here for our next point of interest. And in here, through this incredibly narrow passage right here. There we go. In here is the spinnery. Output, input, purchase point, purchase for $180,000. And now we'll follow this back around. Again, we've got to get through that gate. Incredibly narrow. Be careful what bits of equipment you use to travel around this map, because the map traveling isn't... Oh, that almost ended badly. The traveling around the map is not bad. It's getting through a lot of the gates and places where the sell points are. If you've got a tractor with dualies on or something along those lines, you're not going to get through at all. All right, so coming up here to my right, it's our next point of interest right over here. Stop right there. And this is the lime station. Now, one thing I noticed is that it has this wrench here, but I can't activate anything here. So my hope is that it'll just dispense like normal. I don't understand why the wrench is there, like the fill-up wrench, but it is there. Right here, we have the Grain Barge Terminal 2 sell point. Make our way back around to the truck. As we follow this road around this corner, we got to take a look at the map once again. So we were way over here at farm, quote unquote, number 2. We went over to the dairy, came down the road and saw the temple constructible point. We then came all the way out to here, come around down and up to the spinnery, out and around to the lime station and the Grain Barge Terminal 2 sell point. Then came out to farmland number 89. We can purchase this for $160,560. And now we have access to, the biogas plant. So right here we have our liquid outputs, aka digestate, liquid input here, and solid input right here. And this is just a normal BGA, as you can see, manure, silage, slurry, and sugar beet cut. Nothing too drastic on that one. Now coming up here, make a right. Oh, hey now. Okay. Now here we'll make a left. Now follow this back to our next couple of interests. Again, another narrow entrance to get in and out of here. Oops. There's the door. This is the warehouse sell point. We're going to go around this way. In the back over here is the... Nope, not over here. Over here, that is the warehouse buy point. Backtrack just a little ways. just across the bridge, come to this side road, and take this out here. Now, coming up right here, this is the Playground Maker Hall. So again, another constructible area, and you can purchase it for $150,000. And you just bring your various materials over here. It'll build out some bit of equipment for you, and then you are able to sell it for a profit. Now, coming up here, right here, we have the restaurant sell point. Now, one thing you got to be careful of is, you can see how there's some rough spots on this map. Oof. But I'm going to be stubborn because, there we go. Once you get through it, you're good. Big quarry right there in front of me with tons and tons of stones. Over here, we have the cement factory. $370,000 to purchase that. Now, coming up here is a interesting feature. So it looked like when I was doing my initial walkthrough, you're able to go through here. Now, you can if and only if you're in a tall enough vehicle. So as long as you hug right up against the edging there, you're good to go. And then we can continue back over here. Now, tucked away back here is the Dredging Barge. Now, this is where you can go ahead and pick up your stones to be able to utilize across your map. And what I will point out is if we take a look at the map here, you can see this little green area here, you own this piece of land, meaning that you're able to come over and utilize this right away. You don't have to wait. You don't have to sit there and come up with some kind of clever or fancy way to be able to get the rocks off the ground because you own the land. Therefore, you're able to pick them up. So coming up here, make a right. And now coming up here to the right is the next point of interest. And then coming through the gate here, we got a few points of interest all tucked away right here. We have the sawmill outputs are right here. Buy point is here, $300,000 to purchase. AI helper Noah is here. And then input back here with a wood cell trigger right there. So heading back to the truck. There we go. Get back into the truck. And then follow this into the back. And tucked away back here, we have the Grain Elevator Museum. Again, this is another constructible for you to be able to bring all your palleted goods that it requires. And then it will utilize those for the process of rebuilding. And then you get a big payout once it's all rebuilt. So now, you need to follow this back. Now we'll follow this road. And then once we come up to this intersection over here, we'll then be able to take that going to the south, and then we'll catch the last 3 points of interest on this map. So first one coming up here to my right. Kind of see it through the trees there. That is the wagon builder. We pull up right here, you can see it clearly right here, the wagon builder. So if you come over here, we can click on the wrench and actually formally purchase it, but you can use this as like a sell point right off the bat. $425,000 to purchase this just to make some toys. So, whew, better be some awesome toys. Now continuing down the road. Now, one thing I'm going to point out is as we come up to this section of the road, there is a part of the road where it gets a little bit treacherous. You're going to see it here any minute now. Right there. Bam. See how I kind of skipped up? The road is just kind of a little off kilter there. Now over here we have the oil mill. Output is there, input is here, and the purchase point here for $240,000. You can purchase that. Now hop in and take a look at our last point of interest coming up here. All right, and tucked away in here, we have the playground. And this is another constructible to where you're able to bring over things like the wood beams with planks long, rope, and be able to produce a playground. And that's it. That is everything here for Star Valley. Now it's time to render my opinion, let you know what I think. 0 to 5 scale as per usual. This one is a struggle for me. I have had a lot of difficult decisions to make this past week. A lot of maps have released this week. I don't want to say a lot, but a few maps have released this week. And each of them in one way, shape, or form has just given me an absolute crisis. And it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts that it is this difficult. So, wow, where to begin? All right, things I like. I love the undulations and the terrain on this map. It's nuts. This map is going to make you have to think, and it's more than just, how do I get to the next step on the main farm, or, whatever the case may be. How do I expand? How do I do this? How do I do that? What kind of mechanisms do I want to put in place to be able to get that to that part? And what it's all going to boil down to is getting the most horsepower for your buck. That's what it's going to boil down to. Is the moment that you start really ripping into the horsepower and all that stuff, then you're going to be able to kind of get around this map and get things done. But if you're kind of cheaping out or whatever the case may be and trying to save a buck or two, with whatever kind of thing you can, you're going to get really kind of upset pretty quickly, because it's one of those where you can get pinned in by an oncoming car. I mean, there's just so many different scenarios that can play out on this style of map. So what do I think of it? Beyond that, the color palette, it's all right. It's got a bunch of pops of color here and there, but it's not enough to really kind of overwhelm me or make it feel like it's a cartoon. So that's nice. So then what else? There's the road network. This map feels huge, and it's because of the road network. It's because of the undulations on this map. So now let's get to some of the things I don't care for. Number one, this industrial park. I'm not a huge fan of that. That takes up a ton of space, and you're basically having to come up here all the time because you got the shop area right here. You're going to be passing it back and forth until you do something with it. And that can take a long time because you do not start with a lot of stuff on this map. Then on top of all that, there's a few issues I discovered. The trees being in the middle of the pathway. There was a stop sign in the middle of one of the forest entrances. I mean, there's several issues. There's AI helper Katie that should be over here, but it's David that's over here for some reason. I don't know what's happening or why Katie's not at her job, but whatever the case may be, it is what it is. And I don't know. It's just, at the end of the day, I'm struggling with this map. There's several issues that need to be fixed, and some of them are, for the most part, they're pretty small. For the most part, they're not huge, but they're going to need to be dealt with. They're going to need to be kind of assessed and figured out because there's going to be several of them that are going to be really kind of, I don't want to say deal breakers, but could potentially cause some issues for people down the road kind of thing. But other than that, I think this is a fine map. I'm trying to think of what I would fairly give this map. So I think in its current state, I think I'd give this map a 2. There's too many issues that need to be addressed and corrected. There's just, see, like that right there. I was just driving and all of a sudden it just kind of launched me into the side. I mean, just little things like that. It just needs to be taken care of, have a little bit of TLC paid to it, and then it's going to be good to go. But at this point, it's one of those where it's, I think it's going to be fair to give this a 2. And when it gets fixed, if it gets fixed, and they are able to kind of address some of these issues, the floating trees, the trees spawned in the incorrect areas, there's signage that's falling down or is in the middle of a driveway, like a stop sign that's in the middle of a driveway. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm thinking that, like I said, about 2.5 as it currently sits. And I think that once it's addressed and things get kind of tightened up and cleaned up, I think that this map's pretty solid. And I like the fact that it's going to make you think and it's going to make you have to over prepare for everything. So you're going to need bigger, stronger equipment to be able to get up and down these fields, be able to do anything around this map. You're going to have to put some thought into it because, I mean, you look at any of the fields that we're by, they are so wavy, so full of hills and terrain shifts that you're not going to be able to just get away with just getting a bit of equipment that kind of matches the size. You're going to have to go overboard and then some in order to get everything out of it without struggling on this map. So yeah, I think that's I think once it's fixed, I think a solid 3.5, maybe even a 4 would be appropriate for this map. I do like it. I do think that this has potential. It's just needs a little bit of TLC, needs a little love, and then once that love is paid, it'll be good to go. But one thing I also want to point out too is this map, when I first came on here, it reminded me of a far more aggressive Riverbend Springs. A far more aggressive Riverbend Springs. So, and if you look at it, you look at the map itself, this is Riverbend Springs. I mean, the river is, the Riverbend Springs River, and then you got the kind of general layout of the map and various little bits and pieces that are on it, and it's just been basically the volume cranked to 11. I like it. I do like it. I think this is a solid map. It needs to have some love paid to it. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I hope you enjoyed this map tour, and if you did, please show me by liking, sharing. Wow, look at that hill. liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy you doing. The show should engage with this channel and enjoying the content. That being said, I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Take care.